13 signs your aura is too powerful for most people to handle. Your vision will become clear only when you can look into your own heart. Who looks outside, dreams. Who looks inside, awakes. Carl Jung. Have you ever felt like your very presence unsettles others, even when you're simply being yourself? This isn't arrogance, it's energy. In today's video on spiritual wisdom, we'll explore 13 powerful signs that your aura might be too intense for most people to handle. These signs aren't just labels, they're invitations to deeper self-awareness. As you listen, ask yourself, have I experienced this? Drop your insights in the comments below your story. Might just be the light someone else needs to feel seen and understood. 1. You don't seek external approval, and that threatens the system. In a world where conformity is the norm, and external validation is mistaken for self-worth, choosing not to seek approval becomes a radical act. Society trains us to crave applause, to earn belonging by dimming our light, by editing ourselves to fit into someone else's mold. But you've broken that unspoken contract. You've stepped outside the invisible prison of performance, and in doing so, you've returned home to yourself. This quiet rebellion is not loud or boastful. It is steady, grounded, and sovereign. You are no longer at the mercy of opinions. While others adjust their identity to gain affection, you remain centered in your truth. You are not moved by tides of popularity because you no longer need permission to exist. Your aura doesn't whisper, it declares. And what it declares can be unsettling. I am not for sale. This declaration isn't made with words. It flows from you effortlessly, like a silent current of self-possession. This is not arrogance. This is wholeness. A person who is whole doesn't seek to stand out. They simply can't fit in where there is no alignment. When you enter a space, you do not shrink. You do not bend the energy, and the room shifts around you. People sense it immediately, even if they can't articulate it. Some will admire you, yes, even be drawn to you, like a compass to the north. But others, whose own identities still rest on shaky ground, might feel discomfort in your presence. Not because you've harmed them, but because your very being exposes what they have yet to discover within themselves. Carl Jung spoke of this. He understood that individuation, the courageous journey of becoming fully yourself, is not without its cost. Before it liberates, it isolates. Before it empowers, it disrupts. Not everyone is ready to face the truths that your presence surfaces. And that's okay. Your role is not to soothe their fears by dimming your light. Your responsibility is to stay aligned, even if it means standing alone. Because peace, real peace, does not come from being liked. It comes from being whole. You don't bend your truth to make others feel better. You don't dilute your message to be more digestible. You don't shapeshift to belong. You've learned that authentic alignment with your soul is more valuable than any applause and far more lasting than any fleeting approval. And that alignment creates a frequency, a vibration that is unmistakable. It cannot be faked. It cannot be bought. And it certainly cannot be imitated. People may feel it and withdraw without knowing why. Some may project onto you, calling you distant, intense, or intimidating. But none of that belongs to you. Those labels are simply a mirror reflecting their unresolved fears back at them. Your clarity, your peace, your power, those things disturb what is still fragmented in others. Because you've shattered the mold, you can no longer be molded. You are no longer performing, you are living. And when you live your truth, that truth has a frequency. That frequency pierces through illusions, dissolves lies, and reveals where people are still hiding from themselves. This is not just poetic language. It is grounded in psychological truth. As Jung explained, once we integrate our shadow, those hidden, disowned parts of ourselves, we stop needing to project it onto others. But those who haven't done the inner work will often see in you what they deny in themselves, and they'll blame you for it. You have become emotionally immune to manipulation because your worth no longer hangs in the balance of someone else's opinion. You don't chase love. You don't beg to be seen. You don't hustle for your value. That kind of self-possession, that kind of energetic independence, is what systems of control fear the most. You cannot be dominated, not because you are aggressive, but because you are whole. And wholeness in a fragmented world is both rare and revolutionary. It doesn't conform. It doesn't apologize. It simply is. So if this message resonates deep in your soul, if you feel this truth, not just in your mind, but in your bones, I invite you to claim it. Comment below, "I am not for sale." Let the world know that your light will not be dimmed. Not for comfort, not for belonging, not for anyone. You were never meant to be caged. You were meant to be free. 2. Your presence acts as a mirror. When your aura radiates with truth, it doesn't seek permission to be felt. It just is. You don't walk into a room asking for attention, yet attention finds you. Not because you're loud, but because you're aligned. Your presence alone creates a ripple, shaking loose the masks people wear and exposing emotional truths they've buried deep. And it's not what you say, it's the silence you carry that becomes deafening for those who haven't yet faced their own shadow. Your energy becomes a mirror. And in that mirror, people don't just see you, they see themselves, often for the first time. That kind of confrontation, even when unspoken, is not something everyone is prepared for. Carl Jung spoke of this long before the modern language of energy and frequency. He called it the shadow of the repressed parts of the psyche that we deny, hide, or project onto others. When someone is in the presence of a person who has done the inner work, someone who is not fragmented or pretending, it awakens something raw. Your aura doesn't judge. It reflects. It reveals. And what it reveals, unhealed wounds, false identities, unresolved emotions, is precisely what many run from. This is why your calmness can feel like a storm to those in chaos. Your clarity can be unsettling to those still living in fog. And your presence, though peaceful, can stir waves in others without you even trying. You've probably seen it happen. People withdrawing for reasons they can't explain. Friends who once laughed with you now avoid your gaze. Co-workers who once complimented your strength now whisper from a distance. It's tempting to take it personally, but it isn't personal. It's energetic. When your spirit becomes whole, it disrupts everything that is fragmented. And because you've chosen alignment, you naturally bring contrast. You don't have to correct people's lies. Your truth already does that. You don't have to expose their insecurities. Your confidence already touches them. You don't need to prove anything. Your very existence becomes evidence of what's real. There's a reason people say you're too much. It's not because you are. It's because you're no longer pretending to be less. You've stopped shrinking, and others haven't adjusted to your expansion. When you walk in your full self, you interrupt the performance others are used to. Your wholeness demands presence, not pretense. And some aren't ready to give up their comfort zones. Jung would argue that they're not reacting to you. They're reacting to the parts of themselves you've awakened. Your vibration calls out to their potential, and if they're not ready to rise, they'll retreat. But here's the truth. You are not here to be digestible. You are here to be a reminder of what it looks like to live integrated, awake, and free. Think of those rare individuals who walk into space and change the entire atmosphere, not through noise, but through presence. Their energy doesn't compete, it commands. Their stillness speaks louder than words. That's what you carry. That's what makes you different. And that difference is your divine assignment. Your aura is not decoration, it's declaration. It's a frequency that can't be faked, a vibration that can't be copied. It isn't about superiority, it's about surrender. You've surrendered to who you are, and that surrender makes others aware of who they've denied being. So when people walk away, let them. It's not rejection, it's revelation. Their absence doesn't define your worth. It confirms your light. You weren't made to blend in with mediocrity. You were born to set the tone, to shift the atmosphere, to raise the standard by simply existing in truth. And yes, it can feel isolating. But even in that loneliness, you're not alone. Because there are others like you watching, waiting, remembering. Your presence activates remembrance. Your words stir awakenings. Your silence plants seeds. Never underestimate the power of who you are when you stop editing yourself. The world needs your energy, now more than ever. So don't shrink. Don't explain. Don't apologize. Let your aura be what it was always meant to be, a divine disruption. And if your soul is nodding right now, let this truth anchor you. I am receiving this message from God. It is for me today. I trust it completely. Speak it, breathe it, live it. And when you're ready, leave your mark in the comments. Because this isn't just about you. It's about all the lives your light will illuminate. 3. Emotional reactions from strangers. Reflect your energy field. One of the clearest signs that your aura is too powerful for some people to handle is how they respond to you without even knowing why. You might notice that strangers suddenly open up to you, revealing secrets they've never shared with anyone. At the same time, others might become defensive, irritated, or visibly uncomfortable in your presence, even if you've done nothing to provoke them. This has little to do with what you say, and everything to do with what you are. Your energy doesn't just sit passively, it moves, it vibrates, and it interacts with the suppressed emotions and unconscious material of others. Like a tuning fork, your frequency resonates with the hidden wounds in those around you, shaking loose buried shame, fear, insecurity, or resentment. Carl Jung called this phenomenon projection, when someone unconsciously transfers their inner issues onto another person. In your case, it often means people are responding not to you directly, but to the shadow within themselves that your presence unknowingly reflects. This is what happens when your aura vibrates at a higher frequency. You've done the internal work. You've chosen authenticity over approval, truth over comfort, and alignment over performance. And when you live in that kind of integrity, your energy becomes disruptive, but in a good way. It doesn't allow people to remain asleep in their patterns. It reveals the cracks they've been trying to hide. It brings unconscious discomfort to the surface where it can finally be faced. Some people will experience this as healing, even if they can't explain why they feel lighter or more honest around you. Others, however, will experience it as a threat. They may mislabel you as intimidating, too intense, or too much, simply because your presence exposes the emotional fog they've become attached to. And yet, this is not your fault, nor is it your burden to carry. You are not meant to shrink yourself to make others feel more comfortable in their denial. Your presence is not a mistake. It is a mirror, a catalyst, a light in a world where many still live in the dark. You must understand that your aura is not just powerful, it is purposeful. You are not here to please everyone. You are here to shift the vibration of spaces, even if it causes discomfort. As Jung famously said, the meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed. That's exactly what your energy does, it transforms. But transformation is rarely a peaceful process. It disrupts. It stirs. It shakes people out of complacency. This is why your relationships may feel more intense than most. Why do people either cling to you or retreat from you? Why you often find yourself caught between admiration and suspicion? It's because you're not just a person, you're an activation. You don't just enter a room, you shift it. You don't just talk, you transmit. And that kind of presence doesn't go unnoticed. It either draws people in or sends them running. But in either case, it's doing exactly what it's meant to do. You didn't come here to be neutral. You came here to raise the frequency. So if you've noticed that people react strongly around you, for better or worse, trust that it's your energy field doing its sacred work. You're not crazy, and you're not too much. You're just resonating at a frequency that not everyone can hold. And that is not only okay, it's divine. Honor the power in your presence. You are not here to play small. You are here to remind the world what truth feels like. And light, when powerful, can never be hidden. If this resonates with your journey, type in the comments below. I embrace my powerful energy and the light I bring into this world. 4. You trigger psychological projections. When your aura is clear, grounded, and deeply aligned with your inner truth, you don't merely walk into a room, you shift its entire energy. Your presence becomes a force, a vibration that stirs something unseen. People may not be able to explain it, but they feel it. It's an emotional stirring, a ripple in their subconscious. As Carl Jung taught, when individuals have not yet made peace with their inner shadows, be it fear, insecurity, regret, or unfulfilled desires, they will unknowingly project these unresolved emotions onto others. You show up radiating calm confidence and pure authenticity. You become a mirror, reflecting back what others have suppressed within themselves. Their reaction isn't really about you. It's about the parts of themselves they've long avoided. Your energy becomes a spotlight, illuminating what's been kept in the dark. That's why you may find people reacting to you in extremes. Some may admire you from afar, drawn to your clarity. Others may envy you, or even resent you without ever having a conversation with you. This is not ego, nor is it pride. It resonates. Your frequency disrupts their emotional autopilot. It shakes them out of numbness, and they either rise to meet it or retreat into resistance. Because when you're spiritually aligned and energetically sovereign, you're no longer matching the room you're leading it. That shift creates waves, and not everyone is ready to swim. You may begin to notice the subtle discomfort you evoke in certain people. They might fidget, avoid eye contact, or withdraw when you speak, even though you're simply being kind. Others, on the other hand, may be irresistibly drawn to you. They might feel safe, seen, and understood around you without even knowing why. That's the power of an aura rooted in spiritual truth. What you're witnessing is projection in motion, people responding not to who you are, but to what your energy stirs within their psyche. Carl Jung once said, "Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves." But here's the other side of that coin. Everything that triggers someone about you may be the very thing that holds a key to their healing if they have the courage to face it. In this way, your presence becomes more than magnetic. It becomes medicinal. You awaken something ancient in people, their potential, their pain, their forgotten truth. Your aura doesn't just shine, it reveals. It pierces through illusion. It strips away the social masks and artificial roles. And that can be frightening to those who rely on performance and approval to define their identity. Not because you've done something wrong, but because you're doing something rare. You're choosing to be fully yourself. And in a world addicted to conformity, authenticity becomes an act of rebellion. So if you've ever felt misunderstood, judged, avoided, or even resented, especially when your intentions are pure, know this: it is not your flaw. It is your confirmation. You are evidence that clarity, wholeness, and inner peace are not only possible, they're powerful. Let people feel what they feel. Let them project. You are not here to meet their expectations. You are here to remind them of their forgotten essence. If this message resonates with your spirit, support our journey of awakening by liking this video, subscribing to our channel, and turning on the notification bell so you never miss this kind of soul-nourishing content. And if you feel ready to step into your power, type in the comments, "I deserve to live a financially prosperous life." Because the truth is, you do. 5. A powerful aura reflects inner integration and authenticity. When you do the deep inner work of confronting your repressed emotions, integrating the shadow, and healing the parts of yourself that were once fragmented or hidden, something subtle but undeniable begins to happen. Your energy shifts. This transformation radiates outward. Carl Jung called the shadow the unconscious side of the psyche, the parts of us we deny, suppress, or are unaware of. But when you have the courage to face these hidden aspects, you become more whole. And that wholeness doesn't just stay inside you, it begins to vibrate through your presence. Your aura, then, isn't just a glow or a vibe. It becomes a force. Not one that forces others, but one that exposes what is untrue, what is fragmented, what is fragile. This is the kind of aura that doesn't need to speak loudly to be felt. It walks into a room and shifts the air without saying a word. Most people live behind masks. Jung called this the persona, the identity we construct to be accepted. But when you step outside of that mask and choose truth over performance, your energy becomes raw and real. And while realness is liberating, it can also be deeply uncomfortable for those who are still hiding. Your authenticity disrupts the social game. It doesn't play by the rules of superficial politeness or approval seeking. It simply is. And that isness, that deep inner clarity, can be disarming to people who haven't yet met themselves. They may find your presence intimidating, not because you are dangerous, but because your energy reflects the very things they have not yet acknowledged in their own soul. You show them what they could be, but are not ready to become. That's why some people retreat from you without explanation, project negativity onto you, or label you as too much. It's not about you being wrong, it's about you being real. There is nothing aggressive about a powerful aura. It doesn't seek attention. It doesn't dominate the room. It simply reveals the truth. It is the kind of quiet power that exposes illusions without intention. And in a world full of people who have built entire identities around illusion, that exposure can feel like a threat. But for others, those who are ready to evolve your energy, feels like a doorway. It awakens something inside of them. It calls them forward. They may not even understand why they're drawn to you, but something in your presence makes them remember a truth they had forgotten. This is why you may find that people either cling to you or completely avoid you. Your presence becomes a threshold. Not everyone will cross it, because not everyone is ready for transformation. What you carry is not charisma. It's clarity. It's the unshakable energy of someone who has returned home to themselves. You don't seek to impress. You don't chase approval. You don't bend to make others comfortable. And yet, you are magnetic. People feel something when you walk into a space, a kind of weight, but not heaviness. It's depth. It's substance. It's that rare sense of someone who doesn't need the world to approve of their existence. You are not performing. You are not manipulating. You are simply being, and that being is enough to stir dormant energies in others. It's why some people feel instantly vulnerable around you, while others feel inspired. Either way, your energy has impact. And in moments when you sense people pulling back, questioning you, or becoming distant for no apparent reason, don't doubt yourself. Don't shrink. Don't make yourself smaller just to fit into their comfort zones. Your authenticity is not a threat, it's a light. And not everyone is ready for that light. Some people are still too accustomed to the dark, and when your light shines, it exposes everything they haven't yet dealt with. That doesn't make your presence a problem. It makes it a mirror. So trust your energy. Trust the reactions it evokes, whether positive or negative. You are not here to make people feel comfortable. You are here to be whole. And wholeness is a rare and powerful thing. As Jung once said, the most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely. You've done that, or at least you're on the path, and that alone sets you apart. Your aura is not loud, but it is undeniable. It speaks for you. It reveals your inner alignment. And if others can't handle it, that is their journey, not your burden. If you've ever felt this, that your energy shakes people, even when you're silent, it's because you've become the kind of presence that reminds the world what authenticity looks like. So take up space. Be seen. Let your energy speak the truth it was born to carry. And if this message resonates with you, declare it with power in the comments. My energy speaks truth. Let your presence be a living example of the wholeness so many are still searching for. 6. Others feel drained or energized by your presence. Some people feel uplifted and comforted around you, as if your presence brings a sense of calm, hope, and renewal they didn't know they needed. Others, however, may grow uneasy, irritated, or even emotionally drained just by being near you. This isn't about your words, behavior, or attitude. It's about the silent power of your aura. Your energy doesn't just walk into a room, it radiates. And when it's deeply aligned, authentic, and spiritually charged, it can either heal or disturb, depending on what others are carrying within themselves. Carl Jung's work reminds us that we are not just thinking beings, We are fields of influence, radiating unconscious energy that interacts with the world in ways we barely notice. A powerful aura, then, is not just a mystical idea, it's a psychological reality. It's the invisible force that either awakens others or reveals what they've been avoiding. This is why your light can be both a beacon and a mirror. To those who are open, it's inspiring. To those who are unhealed, it's confronting. That's why some people are drawn to you like a safe harbor. They feel seen, accepted, and energized in your company. They might even say things like, "I don't know why, but I feel better when I talk to you." These are the moments when your aura is acting as a natural healer, restoring balance and raising the emotional tone of those around you without any conscious effort. But this gift comes with a lesson. Not everyone is capable of receiving your energy in a healthy way. There are people who, whether they realize it or not, come into your space not to connect, but to consume. They feel lost in their own energy, and when they sense your radiance, they cling to it. These individuals may leave you feeling tired, emotionally heavy, or inexplicably anxious. They're not bad people, they're just energetically hungry. But you must remember, your energy is not theirs to feed on. You are not required to dim your light to accommodate their shadows. Learning to protect your energy is not selfish, it's sacred. Discernment becomes your spiritual compass. Pay attention to how you feel after each interaction. Do you feel expanded, empowered, and recharged? Or do you feel like something was taken from you? The answers lie not in logic, but in sensation. Your aura responds before your mind can rationalize. Trust that. In the chaos of modern life, where emotional and spiritual noise is everywhere from crowded workplaces to digital spaces, you must become the guardian of your own frequency. Your presence is powerful, not because of what you do, but because of who you are. And the world doesn't always know what to do with someone so rare, so real, and so radiant. This is not a burden, it's a calling. If this message resonates with you, comment "awesome" below, so we know we're not alone in this experience. Your voice matters, your light matters, and the more you understand it, the more you can use it with wisdom and purpose. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Spiritual Wisdom, and tap the bell so you never miss a message designed to elevate your soul. 7. You're often labeled too intense or different. Because you operate at a deeper emotional and spiritual frequency, others often don't know how to handle your presence. They label you as too intense, too much, or different, not because you've done anything wrong, but because your energy disrupts the norm. In a world that rewards surface-level comfort and conformity, someone like you who refuses to shrink or dilute their essence becomes a silent challenge to everything artificial. You don't play small to make others feel big. You don't water yourself down to become digestible. And that terrifies people who haven't yet met themselves fully. Your aura speaks volumes before you say a word. Carl Jung believed that the psyche is more than what we consciously know. It's a complex field of influences, instincts, and truths we often suppress. When your energy field is strong and aligned, it becomes a mirror, one that reflects what others are trying to avoid. People who haven't dealt with their own shadows may find your authenticity unsettling because your presence silently calls them to level up, to look within, and to face the very parts of themselves they've spent years running from. That's why you're not for everyone, and that's okay. You weren't born to fit in. You were born to shine in ways that awaken. There's a woman named Elia who shared her story about constantly being misunderstood at work. She was always calm, composed, and didn't engage in gossip or people-pleasing. Yet, people said she had an intimidating vibe. It wasn't arrogance, it was clarity. She had nothing to prove and no interest in emotional games. When she walked into a room, things shifted not because she demanded attention, but because she carried truth. That's the power of aura. It isn't always loud. Sometimes, it's the quiet confidence that unsettles people the most. You may find that people project their fears onto you. They say you're arrogant when you're confident, cold when you're simply focused, detached when you're just protecting your peace. But know this: when your spirit is whole, when your light doesn't flicker based on who's watching, your energy becomes magnetic to some and repellent to others. That polarity is not a curse. It's confirmation that you are walking in your truth. Jung said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." Your refusal to abandon your depth is the exact thing that makes your journey sacred. So the next time someone calls you too much, smile gently. Let it be a reminder that you're not here to make people comfortable. You're here to be a portal of change, a presence that cannot be ignored. You are intense because your soul is awake. You are different because you've chosen truth over trends. You are powerful because you've learned not to fear your light. And that, dear one, is exactly what this world needs more of. If you felt seen in this message, leave a comment and share your truth. Type below, "I honor the power of my aura." Let's keep this sacred conversation going. 8. You shift the energy in a room just by entering. Your aura doesn't need words to make an entrance. The moment you step into a room, something shifts. Conversations pause, eyes glance your way, and without explanation, the atmosphere begins to change. It's not about how you look or how confidently you carry yourself. What's happening is far deeper. You are radiating energetic coherence, a natural alignment between your inner truth and your external energy. That kind of power speaks before you do. And even though it's silent, it echoes loudly through every space you enter. People feel it without knowing how to name it. Some might grow quiet in your presence, not out of intimidation, but because they feel exposed. Others may lean in, drawn to your centeredness, curious about the calm you carry. Children and animals, untouched by the masks of social conditioning, will recognize your frequency instantly. A dog might rest its head near your feet. A toddler may reach out to touch your hand. That's not coincidence. That's the resonance. They sense the safety and truth in you. You vibrate at a level that only the untainted can recognize without question. Carl Jung believed in the invisible forces shaping human interaction. Though he didn't use the term aura in the mystical sense, his teachings on the unconscious, the shadow self, and the collective psyche all point towards something undeniable. We don't just think and act, we emit. Your vision will become clear only when you can look into your own heart. Jung once said, "That's what you've done. That's why your energy unsettles some and awakens others. Your light does more than inspire, it reveals. And what it reveals can be uncomfortable for those still hiding in their own shadows. People often misunderstand you. They say you're too intense, too deep, too much. But you're not too much. You're just fully present. You've done the inner work. You've confronted your fears, integrated your wounds, and risen into authenticity. That kind of presence can't be faked, and it definitely can't be ignored. When you walk in with that level of clarity and vibration, others are forced to feel themselves more deeply. That can be beautiful or terrifying, depending on how ready they are to grow. Still, it's not your job to shrink. You weren't born to dim your light, to comfort the eyes of those still adjusting to truth. You were born to shift energy, to move hearts, to carry frequency. And yes, sometimes that means standing alone in a room full of people who don't yet understand why they feel what they feel around you. That's not rejection. That's a transformation in motion. If this resonates with you, leave a comment below and say, "I am not too much. I am exactly enough." 9. You repel shallow or performative people. Your presence doesn't just speak, it reveals. When your aura carries the frequency of truth, it becomes impossible for shallow or performative people to remain comfortable around you. It's not about confrontation, it's about contrast. Your energy silently calls out what is false. Those who depend on performance, status, gossip, or external validation often feel exposed in your presence, not because you're judging them, but because your authenticity stands in stark opposition to their pretense. People living behind masks sense something unsettling when you're near. It's as if your energy pulls at the very seams of their illusion. Carl Jung understood this dynamic well. His work revealed that the unconscious reacts powerfully to what it has repressed. So when someone like you, embodying integrity, depth, and spiritual clarity, enters their space, it forces the unconscious shadow to rise. This confrontation often results in avoidance, resentment, or passive aggression. But the issue isn't you, it's what your aura awakens in them. In today's world, where curated personas dominate social media and surface-level interaction is the norm, people who embody spiritual presence are disruptive in the best way. You don't conform to scripts. You don't pretend to be fine when you're not. You don't participate in gossip just to feel included. Your refusal to play the game makes those still stuck in the game nervous, and that's okay. Think of a time at work or among friends when you spoke from the heart without embellishment and felt the room change. Maybe people got quiet. Maybe someone changed the subject. That discomfort wasn't because you overstepped. It was because you were real in a space that was accustomed to performance. Powerful energy always brings clarity, and clarity often feels like exposure to those who are hiding. Still, this isn't a curse. It's a spiritual gift. Your energy acts as a mirror. Not everyone is ready to look, but those who are will be transformed by what they see in you. While others might withdraw, the ones who stay, those who resonate with depth, growth, and truth, will find in you a kindred soul. You don't attract crowds, you attract soul tribes. You don't build noise, you build resonance. So, if you felt isolated, misjudged, or avoided for simply being yourself, take heart. Your aura is doing what it's meant to do. Protect your peace, refine your environment, and elevate those around you. You are not here to be liked by everyone. You are here to awaken what is real. And sometimes, that means walking through life with fewer companions, but deeper connections. Leave your like and subscribe to Spiritual Wisdom. And if this resonates with you, comment below, "I walk in truth." Let's continue to raise our frequency and reflect the light that calls others home. 10. Toxic people are drawn to your light. Toxic people are drawn to your light, not because you are weak, but because you are whole in a way they are not. Narcissists, manipulators, and emotionally unwell individuals are often magnetized to powerful auras, those who radiate clarity, kindness, and self-possession. Your energy becomes a mirror, reflecting back to them everything they have not yet healed. Rather than being inspired by your wholeness, they attempt to feed on it. They subconsciously crave the peace and authenticity you embody, but instead of growing into that energy, they seek to drain it from you. This is not admiration, it's energetic consumption masked as connection. Your light acts as a beacon in a dark world, and that glow can trigger the unhealed wounds of others. Carl Jung understood this deeply when he said, "One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious." The problem is not that your light is too much, but that their darkness is not yet owned. Your aura exposes their unresolved emotions, and rather than face their shadows, they cling to you hoping your warmth will silence the chaos inside them. But light is not meant to be used, it is meant to be honored. That's why boundaries are sacred. Without them, your energy becomes open territory for anyone who feels entitled to your peace. Boundaries are not walls that block love. They are filters that protect it. You must be willing to say no without guilt, to walk away without fear, and to let go of people who mistake your presence for a healing center they can exploit. You were not created to constantly fix others at the expense of your own nervous system. Your job is not to rescue everyone who feels broken. Your responsibility is to stay rooted in your own growth, no matter who misunderstands it. When someone's connection to you feels like constant crisis, guilt-tripping, or emotional chaos, it is not connection. It is energetic consumption. Your time, your peace, your presence, these are sacred. They are not up for negotiation with those who refuse to take accountability for their own healing. Your aura is powerful because it has been built through pain, reflection, and transformation. You are not responsible for those who choose not to do that same work. Every time you set a boundary, you honor your evolution. Every time you walk away from manipulation, you affirm your self-worth. Every time you say, "This is not for me," you strengthen your energetic field. And that power will always attract those who want to dim it, not because they hate you, but because your light reminds them of how far they've yet to go. So be kind, but be firm. Be open, but stay wise. Not everyone who wants your energy deserves access to it. Protect your light not out of fear, but out of reverence for the work you've done to shine. And if this message speaks to something you felt but never said out loud, type in the comments, "I protect my light." Let's create a space where powerful souls like you are no longer drained, but empowered. 11. You attract deep, soulful conversations. Naturally, people feel safe around you, often without understanding why. It's not something you say. It's not even something you do. It's something you are. Your aura, the subtle field of emotional and energetic presence surrounding you, naturally draws people in. According to Carl Jung, we are all more than just the conscious mind. We're complex layers of the personal unconscious, collective unconscious, and archetypal energies. When your aura is powerful, aligned, and authentic, it resonates like a silent song that others unconsciously hear and feel. And so, people open up. They tell you things they haven't told anyone else. Strangers find themselves confessing their childhood traumas, heartbreaks, or unspoken dreams, all because your presence gives them permission to be real. But this natural magnetism comes with a challenge. When your energy feels like a sanctuary, people might treat it like a therapy room. They enter with baggage, and without meaning to, they might try to leave it with you. That's when you must remember one of the most important lessons for those with high spiritual energy. You are a mirror, not a sponge. You reflect clarity, but you are not meant to absorb the weight of another's pain. Jung called this the process of individuation, the integration of all aspects of the self, both conscious and unconscious. And when you've walked through the fire of your own healing, others sense that wholeness in you. But their healing journey is still theirs to walk. Holding space is a sacred act. It means you allow another person to express themselves fully, without judgment, without trying to fix, and without interruption. Your aura naturally holds this kind of space because it radiates safety and authenticity. But spiritual wisdom teaches us that we must also protect this space. You don't owe your energy to everyone who seeks it. Being open-hearted does not mean being emotionally available to all. This is where discernment becomes your protection. Just because someone wants to talk doesn't mean they deserve your time. And just because you can help doesn't mean you should. Your presence, whether you realize it or not, is often a trigger for others, not because you're harsh, but because you're deeply real. And in a world where most people wear masks, realness is rare and disarming. Your aura confronts people with their own suppressed truths. It's not just inspiring, it's exposing. That's why some people will avoid you, others will adore you, and a few will misunderstand you. But none of that changes the fact that your energy is medicine for those ready to grow. Still, it is not your duty to carry the emotional wounds that others refuse to heal. You are a catalyst. You initiate shifts in others just by being in the room. That's why boundaries are not only necessary, they're sacred. When you don't set them, you become drained, resentful, and disconnected from your own source of power. When you do, you stay aligned, grounded, and capable of offering real transformation to those who are ready. There's an old saying, don't set yourself on fire to keep others warm. That applies here more than ever. You don't need to dim your light, but you do need to honor the space where your light shines best. Carl Jung's wisdom reminds us that the psyche isn't something to be cured, it's something to be understood. When you begin to understand why people come to you, why they cry in your presence, or why they say, "I've never told anyone this before," you'll see that it's your aura doing the work. And with that understanding comes responsibility. You must choose when to open your energy and when to shield it, when to listen deeply and when to step away. It is not selfish. It is spiritual hygiene. So next time someone tells you their life story, within minutes of meeting you, smile gently and know that you didn't do anything wrong. In fact, you did something very right. You became a space where truth could finally breathe. If this resonates with you, type in the comments, "I am the mirror, not the sponge." And remember that your aura is not a weakness to control. It's a force to honor. 12. You radiate spiritual grounding and emotional neutrality. You remain calm while others panic. When tension rises, you don't feed it, you transmute it. You don't react impulsively. You respond with clarity and grace. This isn't because you're detached or emotionally numb. It's because you've done the inner work. You've met your shadows, faced your chaos, and found stillness on the other side. What people misunderstand as indifference is, in truth, a rare form of emotional intelligence, one that speaks of spiritual grounding and deep integration of your inner self. In a world addicted to chaos, your peace is disruptive. People who are used to emotional extremes can't quite grasp how you stay centered. Your presence doesn't match the noise, and so it unsettles them. But you're not here to match the noise. You're here to be the silence that reminds others of what they've forgotten: inner stability. Your emotional neutrality doesn't mean you don't feel. It means you've learned not to be ruled by every passing wave. Like a tree with roots that run deep, you are unshaken, even as storms rage around you. Carl Jung believed that our outer reactions are a reflection of our unconscious mind. When people are around you, your calm aura activates something deep within them. It's not your fault they feel off balance. It's your presence revealing what still needs healing. You've become a mirror, not by choice, but by energy. That mirror reflects their lack of inner peace, their unresolved wounds, and their resistance to stillness. And so, they label you too serious, too cold, too distant. But the truth is, you are simply too real. You've chosen to walk in awareness. You've chosen self-control over impulsiveness, grounding over reaction. You've stopped needing to prove anything, and your energy no longer clings or demands; it simply exists, powerfully and quietly. This is why your aura carries weight. It holds the truth. And truth is heavy for those still hiding behind illusions. Your silence doesn't mean absence. It means presence. It means you are so attuned to your own energy that you no longer lose yourself in others. You hold space. You observe. You protect your peace because you've learned it's sacred. And that kind of peace, the kind that radiates without needing validation, is magnetic, but not always welcome by those still attached to noise. If someone has ever made you feel strange for not reacting, for staying calm, for simply being grounded, remember, it's not about you. It's about the discomfort they feel when they can't pull you into their storm. Your neutrality is not emptiness. It is spiritual fullness. It is a sign that you are no longer controlled by the external world, but instead guided by your inner one. Leave a comment below if this speaks to your journey. Say, I choose inner peace over chaos. 13. Animals and children are naturally drawn to you. Children and animals don't respond to status, words, or appearances. They respond to energy. If they seem magnetically drawn to you, it's not by chance. It's because your aura emits a kind of purity that speaks directly to their instincts. In Carl Jung's work, this essence is reflected in the archetype of the divine child, a symbol of spiritual innocence, authenticity, and soul-connected awareness. When your energy is aligned, nurturing, and clear of egoic noise, it resonates with beings who still live close to their intuitive core. That's why a baby might stop crying in your arms, or a stray dog may approach you without fear. You radiate something that feels safe, honest, and whole. This isn't about trying to be gentle or kind. It's about simply being who you are at your core. Your presence is not filtered through manipulation or self-image. It's raw, grounded, and transparent. Those with the clearest auras often don't even realize how deeply their energy affects the world around them. It just happens. People calm down. Tension dissolves. Even chaos seems to hush itself in your presence. You may walk through life wondering why children choose you. why pets come alive when you're near, or why strangers feel compelled to open up. It's because your aura holds space. It doesn't judge. It simply exists in its truth, and that truth disarms anything artificial. One woman shared that every time she visited a new home for her healing work, the dogs who were usually protective would instantly become quiet, and the toddlers, who were known to be shy, would run toward her. It wasn't what she said or did. It was her field of energy calm, integrated, and safe. People who carry this type of energetic frequency don't often realize the spiritual responsibility they hold. Their presence heals without performance. Their silence speaks volumes. Their stillness transmits peace. Carl Jung might not have used the word aura in the mystical sense, but his understanding of the psyche and the collective unconscious points to something deeper. Each of us carries an energetic blueprint that others feel, even if they can't name it. Your aura is like a soul signature, and when it's strong and aligned, it becomes both a mirror and a magnet. It reflects others' unhealed wounds and also draws in those who are seeking light. This is why some people will love you instantly, while others feel oddly uncomfortable around you. You're not doing anything wrong. Your presence just speaks a truth that not everyone is ready to hear. In a world conditioned to respond to noise, you speak in vibration. And those who are attuned to children, animals, the deeply intuitive will always find their way to you. Let this be your reminder that your light is not invisible. It is felt, it is needed, and it is divine. The gentleness of your aura is not weakness, it's wisdom. It took pain to create that peace. It took silence to amplify your soul's voice. And the lesson here? Protect your energy like it's sacred, because it is. Maintain your alignment, not for validation, but for integrity. Let the presence of children and animals be your confirmation. Your aura speaks before you do. Comment below. My energy speaks before I do. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Spiritual Wisdom for more content that awakens the truth already living inside you. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into Carl Jung's wisdom and the powerful signs of a radiant aura. If this message resonated with you, or if you've ever felt misunderstood because of your energy, know that you're not alone, and your light is needed now more than ever. If you found value in today's video, please give it a thumbs up, share it with someone who needs to hear this, and subscribe to Spiritual Wisdom for more insights on energy, awakening, and transformation. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you never miss our upcoming videos that help you step fully into your power. Until next time, honor your energy, embrace your light, and keep shining.